stifled. It was nearly out. Diane felt the chill again, but this time it passed through her as Charlotte padded into the room, carrying a large speckled blue pitcher full of water. She found her mistress staring hypnotically into the last glowing embers of the fire, her skin nearly blue with the cold. "Pray God, madam, you're close to freezing," she declared in a heavy peasant voice. She slapped the pitcher onto an old oak bureau, then, in a brisk maternal sweep, covered Diane with the remaining heap of bedcovers. "Swimming in that river is madness, madam. If you don't freeze, you're sure to die of the pox." There was a long silence between them as Charlotte gathered up the fine Dutch linen undergarments from a trunk at the foot of the bed. Diane watched her, the complex network of wrinkles on Charlotte's full face now highlighted in the grey light from the window. Her kind face was a comfort this morning. Another servant entered the room, in soundless velvet slippers, carrying in one hand a large silver jewellery casket, in the other a freshly starched headdress. "I have spoken to His Majesty's coachman, madame," said Hélène in a wispy, childlike voice. "He expects we shall reach court by midday." Diane nodded but said nothing. "Have you decided what you shall wear when you are introduced once again to His Majesty?" Charlotte asked. "If I might suggest, the moiré silk or the velvet are both splendid." Confident that her suggestion would be heeded, she did not wait for a reply. She padded with heavy, laboured steps back to one of the trunks that lay open beneath the small latched window. This trunk, like the others already on the coach, was lined with an assortment of silks, furs, petticoats, and headdresses. "It must be perfect, simple, solemn. I can afford no mistake in this." She paused a moment and brushed her slender fingers across her slim white throat. "Prepare the velvet with the white lace collar." Wrapped in the bedcovers, Diane moved silently to the hearth and a small petit point hassock. Hélène opened the jewellery case and arranged a selection of necklaces and rings. Charlotte laid the chosen gown across the bed near the stockings and underskirt. She smoothed out each article with her short, rough hands as Hélène moved to the fire to add a few sticks of kindling. A blaze quickly took hold, and gold flames licked the walls of the tiny room. The elements of their mistress's costume now in place, Charlotte took up the pearl-handled comb from the table by the bed. With firm, even strokes, she began to untangle the partially drying tendrils of Diane's thick blonde hair. When it was nearly dry, she stood. She could put it off no longer. She must dress. It was an elaborate ritual of camouflage Diane detested. First, her breasts were tightly bound. Then her hips were flattened. She was covered next in a long-sleeved blue shift, then a heavy leather corset. A bell-shaped canvas underskirt followed, white jersey hose, and finally her gown. It was simple black velvet with a low square neckline. Across it, Charlotte hung a heavy rope of pearls. The long cuffs, trumpet-shaped, were turned back. Their lining was marten fur. She would change into the more formal gown later, after they had been received at court. His court. The dressing of her hair followed. The silky blonde waves that fell uncurled down her back were pulled sharply away from her face, pinned, and then hidden beneath a black silk bonnet. Slowly, the tall, sensual animal who had come up out of the river was transformed into the picture of nobility. She stood still as the folds in her veil were straightened. Her gown was brushed. Gown, headdress, and slippers. They all must be perfect. But no cosmetics. Never any cosmetics. When the dressing ritual was complete, Charlotte stepped back and studied Diane as though she were a painting. She held the point of her chin between two fingers, her heavy brows fused in a frown. "If you are not certain about this, madame, we can just as easily send word to His Majesty that you have fallen ill on your journey. It would be simple enough to tell him that we were required to return home."